Hey guys, hopefully our internet will hold out today. I had a little problem with it earlier, but it's been smooth sailing ever since I reset the router, so I'm crossing my fingers. We don't have any issues today on the live show. So today I'm going to show you how to make a really cool necklace. It's a necklace that I made years ago and is actually published in a beading magazine. I can't recall which one, but I'm going to update it a little bit. When I made that particular necklace, there were only regular crimping pliers, not magical. And so I'm going to play around a little bit with the really cool magical crimpers and take a look at how we can make a necklace. I'm using our Easter themed trio, which is our egg hunt trio. And then I was going to show you a few other of my favorite trios because right now on the website, www.softluxcompany.com, when you buy 2 of our Softlex trio packs, which is basically 60 feet of beading wire in 6 different colors. So you get 10 feet in each color. You buy 2 of them, any 2, you're gonna get a free magical crimper, which is about a $20 value. So it's a really good BOGO. And we're pretty excited about it this week. So I'll show you a few of my favorites. We'll break out the egg hunt and take a closer look. And yeah, let's flip down and just really start going. Oh, Angie, stick around. I'll tell you all about these magical crimpers. They're awesome. Okay, let me get myself organized per usual. Let me do a little adjustment here. And there we go. Okay, so yeah, so let's start out with also, I wanted to mention we have 15 of the Flower Power bead mixes left, so not too many. And then we've got only 4 of the Cupid's Kiss bead mixes, which I forgot to grab, but it looks similar to this, but a lot of pinks, a lot more pink in it. We have only 4 of the Cupid's Kiss left. They're 10% off this week as well, so only $9.44 if you want to grab one of those bead mixes this week, which works so well with these Softlex trios. For example, this is our Neon Nights, and you can see it's like a perfect match for Flower Power. And then a great match for Cupid's Kiss would be this beautiful mystical package that has our spinel, our pink tourmaline, and our amethyst. Now, as you're ordering these trios, we're taking them out of this packaging to ship because we can ship a little bit more cheaply without the packaging. So as I show these to you today, I wouldn't expect it'll probably ship with the package. But this was more if for a retail store, you know, where somebody needs to display the colors, just so you know what to expect. So that's one of my favorite trios. And then I really love the Tranquility, which is great for upcoming summer. Beautiful blues that make me think of the ocean and lakes and rivers. So we've got Tanzanite, Lapis, and Blue Topaz. I grabbed the Renewal because I always loved this one. This one has Peridot, Emerald, and Chrysoprase, and obviously also great for spring and summer when we get into this beautiful bright green and colorful months. And I grabbed the Serenity. This is hands down our most well sold of our trios. And I think the colors each individually are gorgeous, and then they're gorgeous as a group. So that's probably why it always does really well. And it's all of my like go-to colors that if I just don't know what to do that day, these colors usually speak to me. So I think that's why this one's always so popular. So we've got in bone, turquoise, and then over here we've got fluorite. So lots of fun options. And then today what I'm going to play around with is our egg hunt, perfect for upcoming Easter. So I've been working on the girls' Easter baskets. I've had Easter on the mind this week, getting ready for our Easter meal this weekend too. So I thought it would be really fun and appropriate to use this trio. So this is the design that I made years ago. I can't remember which magazine it was. It was either Bead Style or Stringing. It might be Bead Style. And basically it's just some looping of a variety of colors and letting them overlap, and then crimping in the center. So I was going to play around with this concept, not make this exact same design again, but change it up by having magical crimpers and kind of change out the bead selection, and then of course change it to some fun egg hunt colors and see what we think in the end. So that's kind of the goal today. And if you want to make a design like this, you can buy a trio on our website in any color, and you can see the colors, and we'll do a comparison at the end. The color of the wire is going to really change up the way that the design appears. So I think this is going to be a fun adjustment to that design. So to get started, I'm just going to leave those there. They'll stay without rolling. Hi, Sue. And I just wanted to also thank all of you guys for your fantastic, I think I'm gonna use what do you guys think for the main wire color? Maybe purple? I think purple would probably be the nice one to use. I think I'll do purple for the main wire that goes around the neck here. These are the options, by the way, if you wanted to give your opinion. Purple, chrysoprase, and turquoise. I'm doing really well today, Sue. It's gorgeous here in Sonoma today. I mean, you really just can't even beat it. It's so nice. I'm actually going to take my cover up off here so I can get a little more breathing room. Angie likes the aqua, which is the turquoise color. It's nice. Yeah, I like it. We're going to use all three colors though, so don't worry too much. I just was looking for kind of a main color. So I've got a pretty nice, decent length. I'm not going to make this too long of a necklace, so this is probably plenty. And if you wanted to measure to be a little more accurate, I totally back you, but I am not good at measuring. Yeah, I think the other colors will pop too. I agree, Kristen. Okay, so starting here, we're gonna do probably a purple loop in the center, and then we'll work our way out from there. So again, I'm gonna get a pretty decent length of wire because this will be my biggest loop in the center right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and string a couple beads on here. I think I might do 3 of these check glass beads. They're just faceted, pretty simple standard check glass beads that I pulled out of our bin here at the Softwax Gallery in Sonoma. And I'm thinking 3 will be nice because it's going to be right in the center, and we'll work on our size, an appropriate size as we go. So I'm going to grab a crimp out of my crimp bin. I'm using a 2 by 2 millimeter crimp tube today because I can pass my 3 strands of medium 019 Softwax through the 2 by 2 crimp tube 3 times. So it's perfect size for this, and it's perfect for the magical crimpers too. So this is the size diameter wire we're using today, and this is the size that comes in all those color trios. It's our 0.019 inch diameter, or if you're from an international company, you probably would pay attention to 0.488 millimeter. And this is our most commonly used diameter. It's all purpose for glass, mineral, metal beads, and it comes in the largest color selection. And so it's the colors of the rainbow that you'll find in all of our trios. So I'm just gonna string my crimp tube, my 2 by 2 Softwax crimp tube, to the center of my wire and just kind of find that center spot, and then I'll just kind of hold it there so it stays in place. And then I'm going to take both ends of my smaller wire here, and I'm going to feed them into the crimp tube in opposite directions to create a circle. And one thing I'm noticing is this is automatically overlapping, so I want to be careful where my wires go into that crimp tube so that it's going to sit nicely. And then I can kind of just pull on these little, this is like a perfect, what is it called, a pun. Since I'm using the egg hunt trio, I pull on these little bunny ears to make my bunny head the right size. So that looks a little small. I'd like it to be a little bigger than that, so I'm going to open it up a little bit more. And I think that's a pretty good center size. I could even go just a little bit bigger since I did smaller on the other necklace, just to make this a little bit different as well in that way. Would you use a crimp bead with soft flex wire? I absolutely would use a crimp tube. A crimp bead that's round is usually made out of like a base metal, and you could use it. It depends on the quality of the crimp, I guess, would be what I would be looking for. I can verify our crimp tubes are really good. You can't use the crimp beads with the magical crimpers. You would use a regular crimper or like a chain nose plier. So if you're brand new to the magical crimpers, which is the plier that we're giving away this week when you buy 2 of these soft flex trios in any color that you prefer, these have a little divot on each side that is identical. So they're machined to look identical, because when I close this, it's going to create sort of what looks like a little dome on the inside. And that dome fits this crimp tube just perfectly. You want to center the tube in the middle of your magical crimpers and then go ahead and compress. If you've done it right the first time, when it pops out of that crimping plier, you're going to have what looks like 4 little corners, almost like a little pasta ravioli. It's got 4 little square corners. And then you're going to turn it on its side in that same rounder inside the magical crimpers and crimp again. And then I'm just going to go around and around, centering my crimp and crimping into place. And you'll see it took that tube and it rounded out the edges into the nylon coating of the wire to give it a really pretty round bead effect. But this is also really strong and will hold together really well. I mean, I can really tug on this and this crimp isn't going to slip or slide. So the next step is I'm going to go ahead and slide in with my cutter right up against that crimp tube and trim. And I can do it on both sides. Now, one thing I haven't done that would also be fun to try with this design would be just one color of soft flex. If you're not into like a bunch of colors, you could do an individual necklace in one color and continue out the purple, but I'm going to actually switch it up and move on to some turquoise on each side. It will save you from buying crimp covers. Yeah, there's times when I still like to use a crimp cover if I want a bigger finish, because this really is a 2x2 crimp. So once it's crimped, it's almost like a 1x1 bead. It's a little bigger, but it's almost like a 1x2 bead. So if you want something bigger, then that 2mm crimp cover is going to make it more substantial. And there's times where I like that, you know, I like the bigger bead and it makes sense, but not necessarily every time. We're making a necklace today. We're making a necklace and we're gonna work from the center, and we're doing some overlapping loops with our soft flex trio using the egg hunt trio. So now I'm gonna move on to the next color in the egg hunt trio, the turquoise color. We build these trios so that these colors should be able to work together very well in a design like this, or you can break it apart and use each color individually. So it's kind of fun because you have like a ready-made palette to use. So I'm just going to cut free 2 pieces of wire about the same length to make my next 2 circles. Pin my hair back here because I'm starting to get warm in this room here. You can totally use patina on the crimps. Yep, if you wanted to patina the crimp, you definitely can. I've tried it and it works fantastic. So if you wanted it to fade into the purple wire, you could totally use the purple patina and it would fade into the wire. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and string my crimp tube onto my wire. And then I'm going to take my little piece of turquoise, and this time I'm going to go ahead and string just 1 bead, I think. Or maybe I'll do 2 beads on this one since it's the second one. And then I'm going to string my 2 wires in opposite directions through my crimp tube again. So this sale lasts until April 23rd. And also, if you want to like and publicly share this video by April 23rd, I will enter you to win. Let's see, what did I decide you would win this time? It was something different, I thought. Where did I put that? I know. I wanted to say you could win one of our next design kits, because our design kits our new design kit, Mom Rocks, goes on sale next week. So someone that shares and likes the video will win our new design kit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and crimp. So here's one trick, is you want to think, how far away do I want to be from this crimp here? And then you want to look at the 2 circles. Are they overlapping? Like, does the size make sense? Are the beads kind of bumping into each other? Is it going to lay nicely? You want to think about all those things before you go to crimp, because once you crimp, it's finished. You can't move it any more than that. So some critical questions to answer before you move forward. We've got our little ravioli. So these crimping pliers are heaven sent, if you ask me. I love how they turn the crimp tubes into little round beads. It really is like magic. So if you don't have a pair, I really suggest you get on this deal with the buy 2 trios and get a free pair, because it's a really nice tool to get for free. And for those of you that have them, you may even think about doing it just to get an extra pair for traveling. Or for me, I have my office pair and then I have my home pair, because I design in both places. Okay, so we've got our wires started, and now I'm going to do the second side over here. And I probably won't do the whole thing on camera because I can sort of finish it off after. Let me put this bead on here, actually, the crimp tube on the big wire first. And then I'll string my 2 beads. But I want to get far enough along that you can see how the circles look together and kind of check out more of the finished product. And then I can post a picture in our Softflex BIB group. So I'm taking my wire and going through one direction and then just the opposite to make a loop. Ooh, I just had an idea that would have been fun. It'd be fun to actually start small on one side and build to big on the other side, and then maybe just a little small instead of so symmetrical. Like this piece here is so symmetrical, it's the same on either side. It'd be fun to build like this to be the center, where you go from small to big and then just one down like medium. and have it be a little off center. That would be cool. The beads are just floating. Yeah, you could pin them down by crimping on either side if you wanted to, but it's real easy to, it's really easy to leave them floating. If there's no tooth, how does it tighten the wire? So the magical crimpers fit around the crimp tube just perfectly, and what it's doing is actually tightening down the edge. Let me get my crimp just right, and then we'll crimp this one. It's tightening down the edge of that crimp tube, and I think I need to get just a little closer. So once you've set how far apart they are, then you have to really eye it very closely. Okay, so let me get in here closer so you can see. Do you see how it's fitting in that hole just right? And then when I come down, I close down on it. What happens is the pliers are actually pinching the edges of the crimp tube. So it is pinching it. And then when I turn and I compress again, it pinches in those four corners. And then when I keep going around, it continues to pinch the edge of the crimp tube into the nylon coating of the wire. And that's what makes it really stay put, because the edge of this tube is actually pushing into the nylon coating, and that's what makes it hold really well. See, I can really like yank on this and it's not gonna come apart. It pinches the ends, right, and then that grabs onto the wire. So we're used to using a crimping plier if you use the regular pair of crimping pliers. Here's a Mighty, so it's easy to see. We're used to pinching it in the center and then rounding it, whereas this is actually pinching the very ends of the crimp tube so that it's not going to move or slide. And it gives you just such a really strong hold. It's like having a best friend help in your design. Yes, Curtis, I agree. It is. It's very handy, and it does save you on those crimp covers and the frustration of using crimp covers, because they can sometimes be a little frustrating. Although I still use them from time to time, depending on the design. So there we go. There's our first level, and now I'm going to work on adding some of this beautiful chrysoprase, which is the third color in the Egg Hunt trio that I'm using today. Hey, no problem, Angie. Thank you for asking questions, because I think a lot of times people watch videos and they're a little too shy to ask. And so whenever you have a question or anyone has a question, do ask, and if I catch it, I will try to answer on air. And if I miss it, I often will go back through the comments after the live show in the evening and look for questions that didn't get answered. But it helps others to know how to use things too, and makes it just a little clearer, you know, what I am doing and what's going on. So I appreciate questions for sure. Okay, so now we've got our chrysoprase, which is kind of a spring green. This color was just in our Flower Power design kit, and it was a lot of fun to work with. You can see a lot of designs using this color right now in our Softflex Facebook VIB group because of all the posts. If you just check hashtag Flower Power in the VIB group, it'll pull up all of the posts using the Flower Power options. So again, these are 10% off this coming week, along with the Cupid's Kiss bead mixes. So they're under $10 for this big bead mix, which is a custom bead mix from Jesse James Beads for our kits. Okay, so next up, we're going to do a chrysoprase circle. Let's see. It's so fun to take designs that I made years ago with the regular crimping pliers and see an updated version with these awesome magical crimpers. So you can kind of see the difference here of having the regular crimping, and I didn't use crimp covers, although you could, versus these magicals. And I really like how the magical looks for sure. So I've got my next crimp tube on my wire. I'm going to string just one bead this time on my chrysoprase. And then I'm going to pass these wires into that 2x2 Softflex crimp tube. I highly suggest good quality crimp tubes, especially when it's so important to your design, which most crimps are, whether they're on the end of the design in the back, they're still holding everything together and still really, really important. So I'm going to bring this down about the same distance from here to here is what I want from here to here. And it doesn't have to be an exact science. Nobody ever gets up close to your neck and says, is that just 1 millimeter off? is that just a little too far, that particular crimp? But, you know, eye it out and just get it to the best of your ability. And there we go. And I think that's a pretty good size too compared to the other circles that I've made. I'll try to take a side-by-side picture. Yeah, oh, Kristen just said that. Kristen, you read my mind. I read the first part, great side-by-side, and I thought, oh, I should take a picture for you. I'll do that. Kristen and I have worked together for 18 years now or something. I'm not just at Softflex, but also at a bead store years and years ago. And so we often read each other's minds. That just happens over time. We're like an old married couple at this point. Okay, there we go. So we've got our next circle added, and then I can slide in with my fancy Softflex professional cutters and trim off that extra wire. You're supposed to say, it's been so long and joyful, Kristen. Not so long. Oh, man. Okay. I know they do mistake us for one another. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, here we go. I'm stringing through my crimp tube. I'm going to go the opposite direction and just keep building out from the center. And this time I'm just going to relate back to this guy here so that it's going to be about the same size. Let's see. And it's kind of fun to fan it out a little bit because it isn't going to be straight when you wear it. It's going to be more like this, right? And you can change up the beads. You could use gemstone beads, you can use crystals, seed beads, you know, whatever bead you really love, you could definitely work with it. You could even hang a really pretty pendant in the center if you wanted to. It would look really cute with different colored beads. Yeah, I was focused on the wire today. That's what this is. It has the same colors of the wire, but different colored beads are on here. It's got like some peridot and some turquoise and some red jasper to kind of mirror the colors of the beading wire that I used. But yeah, you could totally change up the colors of the beads too. And again, like depending on your color of wire, I'm using the Egg Hunt Trio today, but you could use the Serenity Trio and it's going to look really fun and elegant. Or I imagine if you did like the Mystical Trio, it's going to be kind of funky and just really bright and jewel tone. So the color of the wire is going to make a big difference too. So I'm just eyeing it out. Am I the same kind of general distance? Am I the same general size? Yes, I'm going to go ahead and crimp. And I'll go over it. We got something like that. And the wire's really malleable. If it's going in a direction you don't particularly love, just give it kind of a little tug and a bend, and that'll help. Joy says, yeah, I love that one necklace. I'm an old hippie. Most people that love beading have a little bit of hippie somewhere inside them. Okay, so there we go. You could even keep it simple and stop here. If you don't like a lot of fuss in your necklace, then this might be a really good stopping point, just using all three colors and keep it simple. Or you can keep going like I did up here and keep adding loops. And if you're a beginner beader and you've never ever beaded before, once you've decided on the length of your necklace, you're going to string your wire, your long necklace wire, through your 2x2 millimeter crimp tube. You're going to string it into your clasp, so into this loop here, and then go back into the crimp tube, and then you'll crimp with the magical crimpers again, and then trim off your excess wire. So you can decide, to make variations in a number of different ways. I'm kind of digging just like a few of these little circles in the center and seeing what that looks like. Let me bring it up closer with the white background. Sometimes it's easier to see than when I'm holding it. So that's my fun design idea for the day. Today I used the Softlex Egg Hunt Trio, which comes in 3 different colors with our medium diameter beading wire. And we have lots of other trio combinations that you can try. When you buy 2 of these trios this week, you get a free pair of magical crimpers, which is worth about $20. They have instructions on the back. I highly suggest that you use them with 2x2 millimeter crimp tubes from Softlex, because they're really good quality crimps, and that's important. And if you need some beads to play around with, you can always grab a fun bead mix for 10% off. We only have 15 of these left, so there's not much to grab from. So get that quickly. And then the Cupid's Kiss, there's only 4, so I didn't even grab one of those to show because I imagine those will be going pretty soon. I'm gonna flip around. Hi, I had to pull my hair back. Beading makes me sweat. I don't know why, but it does. So coming up next week, I'm going to be doing the April Showers design kit. It's sold out, but we'll have our brand new kit for sale on Wednesday, which is called Mom Rocks. And I will be giving away a free design kit today to whoever, to one person that I choose randomly that likes and publicly shares this video with your friends or your favorite craft group or bead group, wherever it is that you feel like sharing it. So I appreciate you spending a little time with me today. Thank you for enjoying Softlex beading wire. And if you learned something new today, that's exciting for me too. And you can always ask me questions by going to our website, which is www.softlexcompany.com, and clicking on Ask Sarah. Or you can also private message us questions between James and Kristen and me. Someone's always there to answer your questions here on Facebook as well. Or post them right here if you are happy to do it publicly. So thanks for spending a little time with me today. I'll see you guys next week. Check out Kristen on Monday on YouTube Live at 11 a.m. And I think James has a new video next week as well, or is it tomorrow? I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check and see. It says April 18th. Is that already tomorrow? This month is going so fast. I think it's tomorrow. So check James out, Conversations in Wire on YouTube as well, on our Softflix Company YouTube channel. And he should have a new video tomorrow. I need to take pictures for that. I gotta go. Bye guys. Thanks for spending time with me today. See you later.